I choose, I choose today. I choose to be grateful, so grateful today. I choose to be grateful, grateful today. I choose to be happy, so happy, happy today. I choose to be happy, happy today. I choose to be peaceful, so peaceful today. I choose to be peaceful, so peaceful. Whatever I do is how my day's gonna be. I claim what I want, oh, it's all up to me. Today, I choose to be loving, so loving today. I choose to be loving, loving today. I choose to be joyful, so joyful today. I choose to be joyful, joyful. Whatever I do, it's all my days gonna be. I claim what I want, oh, it's all up to me. Today, I choose to be thankful, so thankful. Today, I choose to be thankful, thankful. Today, I choose to be thankful, so thankful today. I choose to be thankful, thankful. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got love like a mountain. I've got love like a mountain. I've got love like a mountain in my soul. I've got love like a mountain. I've got love like a mountain. I've got love like a mountain in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain in my soul.
Oops. So today's that song was wonderful because today's talk or this what is it called? Wise words is about joy. It is from Venerable Lama Zhendun Rinpoche. Happiness cannot be found through great effort and willpower, but is already there in relaxation and letting go. Don't strain yourself. There is nothing to do. Whatever arises in the mind has no importance at all because it has no reality whatsoever. Don't become attached to it. Don't pass judgment. Let the game happen on its own, springing up and falling back without changing anything, and all will vanish and reappear without end. Only our search for happiness prevents us from seeing it. It is like a rainbow, which you run after without ever catching it. Although it does not exist, it has always been there and accompanies you every instant. Don't believe in the reality of good and bad experiences. They are like rainbows. Waiting to grasp the ungraspable, you exhaust yourself in vain. As soon as you relax this grasping, space is there, open, inviting, and comfortable. So make use of it, all of yourself already. Don't search any further. Don't go into the inextricable jungle looking for the elephant who is already quietly at home. Nothing to do, nothing to force, nothing to want, and everything happens by itself.
There's just one present, there's just one light, shining in the world like a beacon in the night. There is just one power we all can share, one great power everywhere. One great power, one great love, big as the ocean and the stars up above. One great spirit waiting in prayer, one great spirit everywhere. There is just one purpose, there is just one spark, burning in our soul like a candle in the dark. There is just one chorus we all can sing, one great power, let it ring. One great power, one great love, because the ocean and the stars up above. One great spirit waiting in prayer, one great spirit everywhere. One great power everywhere. One great power everywhere.
That might be the first time we've done that as a reggae song. Thanks, James.
You asked for it.
It's true, I did. I used to play in a reggae band a long time ago, doing a Bob Marley tribute back in the 80s. That was a fun time. Toured Canada. It was really good. Uh, I have to share a funny story. So earlier, we'll just say earlier, I was at an event, and there were some Unity members there and some new people that had not heard of Unity before. So we were talking about Unity, and they asked, I forget how it came up, but they asked something about the Bible or something to that effect. And I said, well, we use the Bible, but we metaphysically interpret the Bible. And, so I know for me, I will bring Bible scripture into our talks. And this person very nicely said, yeah, sometimes they talk about the Bible, but he's the worst one. And I was like, how do I take that? Does that I'm bad because of that? Or I am the guilty one of doing that more than anybody else? Anyhow, I'm not gonna stop being who I am. I just thought it was, I I just thought it was funny. So Mother's Day, for some reason, this just ends up being a day I have to do the talk. I don't know why. There must be something I need to understand and learn here that I keep getting Mother's Day as the Sunday that I'm up in our rotation, because Reverend Patricia and I just rotate a lot. But for some reason, I end up with this, and I've played with this in many ways. I've tried to be controversial. I've tried to be spiritual about it, and so today I thought maybe I would do a bit of a combination of things. And so when I gave today's talk title, Harmony and Chaos, Embracing Order Together, I sent that to Rev P, and then she comes back with, are you going to talk at all about Mother's Day? And I was like, oh my gosh, it's Mother's Day. And then I'm like, how is that title That's totally a Mother's Day. Well, I'm okay with it. Harmony and chaos is motherhood. Yes, that's for those that don't know, that's my wife Leslie. I would fit into one of those children in the house as well, I'm sure. So I did a little research on Mother's Day, but accidentally, actually, some things came up. So Mother's Day was actually began in 1908. I don't know if anybody knows that. It was a woman by the name of Anna Jarvis held a ceremony to recognize her late mother as well as other moms. And it was in May because her mom had died a couple of weeks before that. So that's how it ended up being in May. And she brought in carnations as a symbol of Mother's Day on that day. And then there's a whole world of how that is symbolized now. So for example, the reason that carnations are used is actually because the flower, the petal doesn't fall off when they die. Instead, it shrinks up, embracing the center like a mother embraces their child as they get older. Like there was just all of it. It was amazing how we as humans can just create stories about anything we want, right? So it's beautiful. And then I found out that so red carnations symbol are there for living mothers, and the white carnations are there for the deceased mothers. And so now there's red and white carnations, also. And apparently there's pink ones now too. So, but this is what I read in just in my brief research. Undying love for your children. That's the pink. Okay, so the pink carnation is undying love for your children. Right. So even in all of that, as thinking about this talk, I'll go back a bit because when I first had my first Mother's Day talk I did, I wasn't even ordained yet. So I was as green could be in terms of being up here speaking. And I was getting from people, oh, you got to be careful talking about your mom because some people didn't have good relationships with their mother. Like all of these stories that I had. So then I was like, well, what am I supposed to talk about? I don't even know how to handle this. So this is why it keeps coming up for me as an exercise in how do I manage myself on Mother's Day as a minister. But getting back to Anna Jarvis, so she wanted to start Mother's Day and have it as a national holiday. And there's a whole history of how this happened. And I found an article in the Washington Post that actually covers a lot of this story. What is fascinating about this was that Anna wanted to own Mother's Day like it was her own because it was her mother's wish to have a day for mothers. That's why she did this. But anytime anybody wanted to commercialize Mother's Day, she lost her mind about it and was fighting the world on how Mother's Day had to be the way she wanted it, period. She spent all of her fortune fighting people about Mother's Day, ended up in a sanitarium broke. Like, how does that get turned into that? Chaos. See, somebody shouted it out. I didn't even need to bring it up. Chaos. Yeah, it could be that. And so, again, I'll get to the chaos piece in a bit, the chaos and order and wisdom and things like that in a moment. But I thought also what I've never done on Mother's Day is just shared how Mother's Day is for me. Because I had a wonderful relationship with my mom. My mom, I was her little drummer boy. So when I was in grade 7, I got a drum set for Christmas because that's what I wanted. And all my mom ever wanted me to do was play Parumpa Pum Pum. That's it. Like if I just did that on a drum with the little drummer boy at Christmas time, I was the greatest drummer on the planet in my mom's mind. Right? That's how supportive she was. There were times where I brought my friends over and we had been indulging in some things. I won't talk about that. High school. And we would go to the basement with guitar, bass, and drums and just make insane noise down there. I would go upstairs and my mom was in her chair with her eyes closed, almost napping. But really what she was doing was she was praying the rosary. But she loved it. She had no problem with me coming home with these guys and making insane racket in the basement as I found my rock, wanting to be a rock musician and just playing it out loud downstairs. It for some reason didn't bother her. I used to come home from school, open my bedroom window, put on Rush records and practice to Rush records, speakers behind my head, cranked. Never a peep out of my mom about whether I could do that or not. Totally supportive. Yeah, a gift. And then I'm going to celebrate my wife here for a moment, because what I've seen out of my wife, Leslie, is an undying, unending desire for our two daughters to have everything work out perfectly. There is nothing she won't do to have that happen for them. And I'm the guy that's like, they'll figure it out. It's okay. It's okay if they suffer. It's kind of good for them to suffer, right? That's it's all orderly, darling. It's all fine. But for her, no, we're going to do everything we can.
She's like, I'll make it fine.
I'll make maybe. Yes, maybe she is. I'll make it fine in some degree. But so for me, that's the mother that I experience, and that's the mothering I've experienced in my life from my mom and from watching Leslie with our kids, is that they're whatever they require for their genius to flow is 100% supported. That's a whole other story. Yes, we won't get into that. So what I thought of was that in the world of the feminine and the masculine, everything I've read about that is that chaos is in the feminine side of us, and in the masculine side is the order. Hey, I am just saying that those two things, and there's a lot of stuff that can back that up, though. There's a lot of, like, if you dig deep on the surface, it may not look like that makes any sense. But let's just so I went to the Feminine Principle podcast. Okay, so I'm willing to see, how can I research this stuff and come up with things that might. So we all have this. I'm going to read this quote exactly. We all have a relationship with chaos. Love it or hate it, it's always there in the different areas of our lives and relationships. It's there in our body when something is out of balance. It's there at work and at home. And it's there as we move from place to place, going about our day-to-day busyness. Chaos is a necessary part of life and our evolution as it initiates change. However, our understanding of chaos tells a very different story, where stress and overwhelm push us beyond our limits and our boundaries. Chaos is non-linear in nature and therefore is deeply related to the feminine. And when we give ourselves permission to really sit still within her, to lean into her chaotic and wild beauty, we know we can weather any storm, because we are grounded and rooted within the self, and only here can we experience the truth. Mother Earth exemplifies order and chaos through various natural processes and systems that showcase harmony and balance despite the apparent chaos. And I kind of think of that also as the feminine is creative. There's a lot of chaos in creativity. For me, that's how I see that. I'm a musician. I'm a creative person. There's a lot of struggle that comes from that desire to create something. But I can also just put on that masculine side of me that wants to just order everything. No, we'll just do it this way. It'll be fine. We'll just stack this on top of this and on top of this, and everything will work out perfectly. It'll just be fine, which is just not how it works. Just doesn't work that way. Everything in a box. That's it. Yeah, square. Put it in a square box. It'll be perfect. So everything I took away from this was balance. That there needs to be a balance in our lives. It's the yin and yang energy, the chaos and the order, fitting together. And when I'm too orderly, it causes problems in my life. There's no flexibility. There's no room for movement. And when I'm too chaotic in my life, there's also a problem. Anybody else experience that if you think about it? Yeah. Like if we're too far in one camp or the other, we're probably having some struggles. And when we find that balance, that's when we can have that harmony in our lives, that harmonizing. And so I could not do this without bringing some scripture in, because that's just the way I am. I'm the worst at it. Exactly. But getting back to the mother side is that there's the story of Jesus going to the wedding, and he's invited to this wedding. His mother is there, and his disciples are there, and they run out of wine. And Jesus' mother comes to him and says, "Hey, they're out of wine. You got to step up, buddy. It's your big chance." And he's like, "Hey, woman, just back off. I know what I'm supposed to do when I'm supposed to do it." And she just ignores him and goes to all of the servants there and says, "Whatever he tells you to do, just do it. It'll be fine." Because she saw in him, as I started off, that he didn't even know who he was, but mom did. And mom was back there encouraging this, "Hey, there is a greatness in you that you are not living up to right now, but I'm going to support you in getting it out there," and seeing and holding him as something that he couldn't see himself as. And I think there's a great lesson there for all of us. Do we not have people in our lives that might see us as something greater than we even see ourselves? I know I do. I have great support from Leslie at home. She's like a mom to me in some capacities. No, she really is. There is a feminine wisdom and energy there that I get that balances me out and creates that harmony for me, and pushes me along into things that I maybe don't believe I could possibly manage yet. And I fight every step of the way, just so everybody knows, I push back. I'm like, "Hey, woman, what do you know right now?" Totally doing that thing, and she just ignores me completely. So it's about balance. And so I thought I would also bring in our planet here, because I think we all require what this planet provides for us to exist and to live. Has anybody seen the Netflix Life on Our Planet with Morgan Freeman? Why are there some people laughing? Yeah? Rubbish? No. Okay, very good. Yeah. Okay, good. I did some research on it, and apparently there's a lot of scientists that have backed it up that this is as close to truth as they know. And of course, in science, the great thing about science is we don't know what we don't know, and so we always might be changing how things go. But what I took away from that, what I was fascinated by about that, was I had no idea how many times life on this planet had been actually completely annihilated. Like when it ain't working, guess what? Mother Earth just goes, "We're done. This experiment is over." And yet inside of that is that beauty of creation that comes from that. It may look like chaos at the time, but it is actually the potential birth of something new. Kind of like the fire, when we have fire, and we have a burning bowl ceremony every year here at Unity to symbolize that burning of old ideas, to open up that space for something new to come in. So some of the things I took away was that we have ecosystems that create diversity of species and interactions. Like we have these on the planet that actually operate. Each organism plays a role contributing to the overall health and functioning of the ecosystem. And so we've seen that when things get too far in one direction, it throws things out of balance, and then we have to deal with that problem. Sometimes it would be best if we just let things alone, wouldn't it? Instead of thinking we actually know way more than we actually know. Yeah. There's natural cycles. Mother Earth operates an intricate cycles such as water cycles, carbon cycles, nutrient cycles. So that's automatically going on the Earth, whether we want it to or not. There's the adaptation. Living organisms on Earth demonstrate adaptation and resilience. I'm sure we can look in science and see all of the creatures that have adapted to the new things that have shown up. We adapt, don't we, to things that show up in our lives? I know for me, it usually falls in the form of bad habits, where I just adapt to the bad. Potato chips are an absolute weakness for me. And I can find myself going down the potato chip road of destruction if I don't, that's right, I hide them from the kids so I can have them all. I want all of the potato chips. It's like if I see them open the bag, I'm like, those are mine. Go. They just, they're 17, right? The twins. So they basically just put the finger up at me. It's like, whatever, Dad. Yeah. Well, they don't. Figuratively speaking, it was just funner to say it that way. Yeah. They just like, whatever, Dad. Yeah. That's right. Thank you for that. We have biodiversity on Earth. Microorganisms to complex ecosystems showcase the order in diversity, right? We have this naturally going on in a garden. It's right out here in our labyrinth. There's a whole world of biodiversity going on out there. We have geological stability despite activities such as earthquakes and volcanic eruptions. There is, most of the time, it's pretty stable till those things happen, right? But our tectonic plates are moving around the earth, just doing what they need to do without us really even thinking about. Do you think about that? Until I said tectonic plates, did you actually think about that today? No, you didn't, because we didn't need to. There's climate regulation. Earth's climate system, including atmospheric circulation patterns and ocean currents, regulates temperature and weather patterns globally. And guess what? If it falls offside somewhere, it's going to tell us. Right? Things are going to show up that maybe we didn't intend as we've gone along this technological and consumerism model that we seem to have right now. Right? And there's foods to avoid along the way. Right? For those that don't know, somebody's phone just offered us the foods to avoid commentary. And I think that was about potato chips. We bring it back. It was foods to avoid are potato chips and oatmeal. So here, let's bring it all back in if we can. Come on, we can do this, people. We can make this one. Overall, Mother Earth's ability to sustain life and maintain order amidst the complexities and chaos of natural processes is a testament to the resilience and harmony embedded in the natural world. And guess what? That is within us as well. We have that ability to bring about that balance within ourselves. And does anybody know where I'm going to go with this now? Perfect. Prayer and meditation is our key, our source, our ability to bring ourselves back to center, to know the truth of who we are. And so you might ask, well, why do I want to sit there in the quiet and why might I want to pray? Well, I have an answer. The well-known yogi master Aurobindo said, I do not need to teach you how to meditate. If you're honest and sincere, you'll find the way for yourself. And I thought, if we just simply allow ourselves to experience being right where we are, right? Just being right where we are, that's the key. So imagine this. If you were a battery, you kind of are. If you watch The Matrix, you're kind of a battery, right? But if you were a battery and you needed to be recharged and somebody put you in the battery recharger, you might get there and go, well, okay, well, now what am I supposed to do? Like, you put me in this thing. What am I supposed to do now? And then you might answer the battery, you know what? Nothing. Just sit there and be ready to receive. That's all we would need to do. And so let's practice for a moment. Let's practice this beautiful idea of prayer and meditation. And so I invite you, if you're comfortable, to close your eyes. And if you're not, if that's uncomfortable, just find a spot on the ground or the chair in front of you, or if you're at home, an area on a wall or something where you can just allow yourself to soften your gaze. And if you want, you can put your hands down by your side and open them up, palms up, being ready to receive whatever there is to receive in this moment. And you might begin by noticing your breath, that gentle flow of the inhale, the gentle flow of the exhale. And I would invite you to allow your breath to come in through your nostrils, to breathe in through your nose, and gently let that air out through your mouth. With each breath, just experience the inhale and the exhale. You don't have to think, is there something I should be doing? Is there something that should be going on? Just know and trust. This experiencing of being right here is creating that balance within you. At Unity, we teach 12 powers. One of them is the power of love. We teach that we express that love through harmonization, through creating harmony. So I invite you throughout today and the rest of the week, whenever you're feeling out of balance, to just take a moment. Center within yourself on your breath. Allow yourself to be right where you are. Inviting in that true nature of harmonization. Knowing that you are one with the true power and source of life. And as you're ready, on a inhale or exhale, you can open your eyes. Bring yourself back to this space and time. Thank you for joining us today. Namaste.
Fairy tales can come true. It can happen to you if you are young at heart. For at heart you will find to be narrow of mind if you are young at heart. You can go to extremes with impossible schemes. You can laugh when your dreams fall apart at the seams. And life get more exciting with each passing day. And love is either in your heart or on its way. Don't you know that it's worth every treasure on earth to be young at heart? For as rich as you are, is much better by far to be young at heart. And if you should survive to 105, look at all you derive out of being alive. And here is the best part. You have the head start. If you are among the very young at heart.
Thank you, James. That was beautiful. Yeah. Thank you, Thomas. I love the way you combine Mother's Day and balance and meditation. 3 things you wouldn't think go together, but Thomas made it work. Happenings in our community. First, we have the great news that we have found a new location at which to meet every Sunday, which is at Brecken United Church. Our first meeting will be on June 2nd. We're not quite sure of the time. It's still under negotiation, I understand. Woohoo.
And the crowd went wild.
Unity Vancouver Island and Comox is having a couple of events. Today, Reverend Amanda Pope is there speaking, and they have a prayer circle on the 2nd and 4th Tuesdays of the month at 11:30. So the next one will be tomorrow. Unity Vancouver Island Victoria is having a service on the 3rd Sunday of the month, a live service, and that will be next Sunday. And what does it say? Reverend Thomas DeShooter will be there. Who? Yeah. And on the first Monday of the month, they have prayer at the First Metropolitan Church, and that would be May 6th, which was this week. So look forward to June 3rd, I think will be the next one, at 11 a.m. And then they're having an afternoon with Oprah tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock. And Oprah will be interviewing Dr. Roland Griffiths, a pioneer in psychedelic assisted therapy, talks about the mystery of life and the wonders of death. In Victoria. At the yes, it's not Oprah. But I think it's at the
Unity in Victoria. Only be a handful of people there.
but is the question, where will it be in Victoria? Yeah, no, I
They play it in-house there, and people come and watch it together and have a conversation about it after.
you're not going to see it if you're not there. Unity Vancouver Island Nanaimo is having seated Tai Chi with Rick Gothic every Tuesday at 10. The Course in Miracles with Leanne Moores every Thursday at 10:30. Quantum Healing Meditation with Elsie. There's quite a lot of interest here on that. Fourth Wednesday of the month. This month it will be May 22nd at 6 p.m. There are plants left over from last week's sale, and they're available by donation after service. Which brings us to something else. We had an amazing Welcome Summer event last Sunday after service. So thank you all for being involved in that. And then we go to Project Phoenix Rising. I can't believe we're already at 30 episodes. That's amazing. So Thomas interviews all kinds of interesting people. And this week he interviewed Brenda Hannes about being president of our board, and I'm sure other things, because she's not here. She's a mother. Thank you for your abundance. There is time, treasure, and tithes coming to Unity Vancouver Island. If you wish to make a donation online, donations at unityvancouverisland.com. If you're here, there's a box at the back, or you can mail to 2325 East Wellington. I won't tell you the postal code. And then the children. Okay. There may not be any. So let us bless them anyway. Children, we see the divine light shining as you. We love and appreciate you exactly the way you are. Our vision, Unity Vancouver Island, is a growing, unfolding, expanding center of light and love, mighty to attract its good and radiate good to others. And Iris, who's sitting right at the back under the clock, will be available for individual prayer support in the prayer room after service. Please join us in our prayer for protection. The light that is God surrounds us. We are one with the light. The love that is God enfolds us. We are one with the love. The power that is God protects us. We are one with the power. The presence that is God watches over us.
We are one with the presence.
Wherever we are,
God is. So it is.
let there be peace on earth.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With love as our center, familiar are we. Let's walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let it begin with me. Let's take a moment now. With every step I take, let this be my soul and vow. To take it moment, to live it moment in eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Yeah. Thank you. Right here.